Hey there, I'm Lance and I'm a gamer.
And I'm Sam and I'm a non-gamer.
We are Love to Hate, where we help gamers find great games to play with non-gamers.
Today we're taking a look at Three Magi by Bedouin Games.
Three Magi comes to us from Bedouin Games, who helped sponsor this video, so we want to thank them for that. Now, this game is coming to crowdfunding here in the very near future, so make sure to check out the link down below in the description of this video after you watch it to get all the details on this one with the campaign page. Now, if you're not familiar, Three Magi are the three wise men from the biblical birth narrative of Jesus Christ. And this game, you are going to play as those wise men as you travel along through the desert, trying to get to Bethlehem to visit Jesus to offer him your gifts. Now, in this game, you'll be collecting cards, crafting gifts, and collecting merchant cards along the way, hopefully scoring the most points before someone ends the game by getting to Bethlehem. Let's go down to the table. I'll show you how this one works, and then we'll come back and share our thoughts on it as a gamer and non-gamer. All right, I have Three Magi on the table. Let me show you this game about the three wise men. Now, I do want to make sure you understand that everything you see here is prototype, so the final artwork components, maybe even some of the rules, might change once it's released from crowdfunding. That being said, what you have here for components, you've got this playing area that is made up of these hexagon tiles, and this is going to be modular in how you set this up. You're going to be setting this up randomly every time you play it, but these 5 blue tiles will be specifically in this arrangement, starting with Arabia, Jericho, Jerusalem, Herod's palace, and Bethlehem at the end of the line, because of course that is where Jesus is born. Now, these other tiles, they're going to be shuffled and randomly placed. You do have lots of cards in the game. You've got these merchant cards and these resource cards, as well as these craft cards, which are in a very unique shape here that look like a chest of sorts. And so you are going to have those cards in the game. You do have some tokens. You do have these really nice camel meeples. I thought those are pretty cool. Nice touch to the game. And in addition to that, you do have your own personal navigation board that you will be moving these markers on in a circular motion, trying to get these to go around as many times as possible, getting bonuses along the way. Now, how this game is going to work, starting with whoever is the first player, you will move one of your caravans, one of your camels in your caravan. Now, the rule about this is that you cannot leave any camel behind. They do have to be on adjacent tiles throughout movement down the line here. But you can pretty much move to anything that is adjacent to where you have a camel. And as long as you're moving towards Bethlehem, you cannot move like this vertical. You have to be moving at least diagonal, and you cannot move backwards. So at the beginning of the game, my only spots I can go to are these 2 spaces. And so I would move one of my camels to that space and get to do the action that is listed there on the top. Now, at the beginning of the game, you are going to do this action right here, which is to gain one of each of the resource cards. Now, these resource cards are going to come in 3 different varieties, as denoted by the color of rectangle on the back of the card. Now, the other icons on the cards are going to tell you what the options for what are on the front side of that card. Each card has 2 options. So this card right here could be linen or silk. Now, you're not sure which, but whichever it is, it's also going to come with a particular action that you can do for it. Now, any actions that are listed in a blue banner, such as this one right here, those are going to be nighttime actions, and any ones that are listed in a white banner, those are going to be daytime actions. So we flip this over and we see that it is silk, and it does have a white action on it that you could do during the day, and it's also going to have an icon right here that is associated with one of the 3 tokens on your navigation board. You've got the moon as the inner one, the sun as the middle one, and the star as the outer one. And so this one corresponds to the moon, and so that would be this inner circle one. And so gaining my 3 cards, I now have some things to work with, and as you can see, these are going to be nighttime ones that I would play during the nighttime phase. We'll come back to that here in just a second. But I would move a camel, and I would get to do whatever's listed on the top of that tile. Now, this one in particular is to draw any one card. of the resources, and then gain a merchant card. So let's talk about the merchant cards. The merchant cards are going to come in 3 different varieties. You've got your instant bonus ones that have this lightning bolt on it. They give you an instant ability, such as this one: discard a card that has myrrh on it, and you will immediately gain 4 points. Now, if you don't have myrrh, this card's not going to help you too much, but that's a nice one if you have myrrh. Then there are going to be cards that are going to have this on the top of it that are going to give you an opportunity for in-game points. This one is that it will give you 2 extra points for every craft that you have made that has silk be a part of it. So this particular one right here, you would get 4 points for having crafted this, but if you had this card as well, it would get you an extra 2 points since it does have silk. And that's how the in-game bonus cards are going to work. And then this card right here is an ongoing ability that you can do throughout the course of the game, which this particular one lets you to negate one of the frankincense resources that are on a craft card. So this card right here, I would not need this frankincense. I would just need 2 silver to be able to craft this for 7 points. Now, you can only ever have 2 of these ongoing cards for the entire game. You could swap one out for another one, but the maximum you can hold at any particular time is 2. So these are the merchant cards, and you would get to do that anytime you see this red exclamation point person looking icon on the tile. Now, there are lots of different actions, as you can see, but essentially what a lot of them are going to be are opportunities to get you cards or to play a card, which playing a card is very simple. You would play one of these cards that has the white background on it because that is a daytime card. And then you would get to do the action that is listed on it. So this particular action is to advance any one of your markers on this navigation board. When you advance, you always move it to the next spot clockwise. So this would be the next spot here. And if you pass over any kind of bonus, so if I were to move this one to the next spot there, I would gain this particular bonus, which is to draw one of the resource cards. And what I'm trying to do with these is I'm trying to get them to either all line up on one of these 4 lines on the sides, or to at least advance past it. So maybe something like this. We've gotten all 3 of them to advance to this point right here, so I get to flip this over and gain that special ability. And once I were to get them all lined up over here, or at least past it, then I would get to flip this one over, and so on and so forth. Now, when I come around to this bottom sign, passing over these, I would gain the bonus listed on this token and then flip it over. And from that point forward in the game, anytime I pass over that again, I'm earning victory points. So 3 victory points for the center one, 4 for the middle one, and 5 for the outer one. So you can see why I would want to rush these around as many times as possible. We'll come back to this board here in just a second. Just know that this icon allows you to move anyone that you want, but also whenever you play a card, whatever is the icon right there allows you to move that token as well. So I would get to move my moon marker because this is a moon card. And that's how playing a card works. And there are going to be options to be able to craft these items, which means you would have to discard cards that have the icons on it for the things that you're wanting to craft. You're not playing these cards, so essentially you're just getting rid of these cards, but you are getting points for having crafted particular items. Now, moving a camel, doing an action, that's essentially what you're doing on your turn. And then once everybody's done that, we would advance this little marker 1 space forward, repeat the process, repeat it a 3rd time. And then once everybody has taken 3 actions, we would go to the night phase. Now, what's different about the night phase is that this is when you're going to play the cards that have night actions on them. And these are different sets, different ways for you to score points, such as this particular one, which is the frankincense card. And essentially, you need to be able to play 1, 2, or 3 frankincense to get 1, 4, or 9 points. That's how the frankincense set works. Whereas this particular card is going to give you points for all of the sun cards that you have played for that round, including any that might have been the daytime ones. This particular one is going to give you 2 points for every sun card that you've played that round. So that's a pretty nice card to have. There are also going to be these cards. Oh, here's a wild card, by the way. You do have one that can be wild, that can count as any resource or advance you on any one of those navigation tracks. This one right here is the linen set. Now, how the linen set works is that you will get 1 point for this linen card, but you'll get an increasing number of points for different types of resources that you have played that round. So you want to try to get a diversity of resources. As you can see here, we've got 4 different resources, so that would get me 9 points. That's how the linen card works. And that is at the night phase. Now, in addition to playing those night phase cards, you can also reactivate any of these navigation bonuses that you have flipped over, but not the ones that you haven't flipped over, getting to do that. And that's essentially what you're doing in the night phase, keeping track of your points along the outer score track right there. And then you would rotate the first player token, and you would repeat the process again, knowing that you have to move your camels together in a group, which means you could not leave one camel behind. So let's say that my line was like this. I could not move this camel here, even though it is moving towards Bethlehem. I couldn't do that because it would leave my third camel back here all by its lonesome. So I would have to move that particular camel either there, there, or there. And that's how the caravan movement works. Now, at the end of the game, you're going to obviously have the points that you've kept track of, but you will also get points for any of the crafts that you've made, as well as the cards that are going to award you the in-game bonus points. But the game is going to end at the end of a round when one or more camels make it to Bethlehem, and that would trigger the end game, which means that's going to be the final round for the game, because the Magi have made it to Bethlehem to see baby Jesus. And whoever has the most points is going to be the winner, and that is how you play 3 Magi. Now let's go back up top and share our thoughts on this one. And we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts here on 3 Magi. So Sam, let's talk about the way this game looks out on the table, its presentation. Love those little camel meeples. What did you think about the way this game looks out on the table?
Yeah, I mean, I like the shape of it and the little...
The hex tiles,
yeah.
It's a unique setup because it's not a board, it's tile, it's modular.
Yeah.
It has these hex tiles, and that's obviously can change, shuffling those up every time you play, but it's not even like a symmetrical shaped board.
Yeah.
It's very unique the way it looks out on the table, and you've got a lot of cards in this game. You typically like the kind of games where you are trying to fulfill some sort of recipe, and you kind of have that with this one. So what did you think about that contract fulfillment?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you first set it up, I was thinking, absolutely not, because it looked, I think,
Looked
more
heavier than what it is.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of times with religious type games or history type games, it can feel kind of, we're trying to teach you something, and it just doesn't meet the mark. But this one, it did.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. A lot of the times those games can be very educational, but they might miss the fun factor with it.
Yeah.
This game I felt like was both.
Yeah. And you definitely can know nothing about the story, not even be interested in that aspect of it, and it's still a fun game.
Absolutely. But it definitely does present that birth narrative in a very contextual, accurate way. I mean, other than the fact that, I'm the 3 Magi, you're the 3 Magi, we're all the 3 Magi, which, that's not obviously true. But, controlling your Magi, getting them to Bethlehem, you might stop at the Herod's palace. And, that was obviously part of the narrative as well. And so bringing frankincense, gold, and myrrh is another part of it too. So it's very true to that aspect of the game. But I think it does present it in a very entertaining and fun way. What did you think about the gameplay of this one?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot more fun. I will say I really didn't have high expectations, and I had a good time playing this game.
I really enjoy how you can extend turns in a way, because you play a card, you get to do the action, you advance your marker on the token. Maybe that gives you something else.
There not really, but it feels like... not machine building, that's not what I'm trying to say. Engine building in a way.
Well, yes, in a sense, because it's like comboing your turns is kind of how I felt with it, because you get something that maybe lets you play a card, and that lets you do something else and earn a bonus that lets you play a card, so you get to kind of take a turn again, and you just keep going, is how it sort of felt like to me. But I love how this game sort of builds on itself. Like the first round, you don't do a whole lot.
Yeah.
Second round, you do a little bit more. Third round, you start to get to doing more. And I think maybe that's what you're getting at.
Yeah.
You might feel like you're building an engine, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's very familiar mechanics. I mean, we already talked about the contract fulfillment, and you have this caravan moving mechanic with it that you can only go to certain spots that are next to your caravan. So you really kind of have to think about where you're going, and you don't want to go so slow that you don't end up really getting to the best actions.
Yeah.
So you do have to kind of keep up with the Joneses, so to speak, with that aspect of it. The game says it is for ages 8 and up, 1 to 4 players, 60 to 90 minutes. I feel like, 60 to 90 minutes is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Ages 8 and up is kind of interesting to me because I think we probably could play this with our 10-year-old. I don't know that we could play it with our 7-year-old. So maybe that 8 age range is pretty close to accurate. What did you think? Yeah,
I mean, we could definitely play it with our 13-year-old. But I think our 10-year-old would understand it.
Yeah, I think so too. I really enjoy it. I think it's a great game, and I think it's one that a lot of people are going to like. Probably one of the better ones from Bedouin that we've gotten to try out from them. They do these pretty interesting religious games like Rise of Babel, Over the Tower of Babel, and The Flood, which obviously is about the flood narrative. And this is the latest one from them, 3 Magi. So I really like it. One that you would recommend playing with non-gamers?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. This is from Bedouin Games. Leave us some comments down below. Let us know what you think about 3 Magi.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.